Welcome to Producing with AI, a behind-the-scenes look at the AI technologies that were used in the creation of my NAB vodcasts in spring 2024. So why use AI? There were two goals for me. I wanted to speed up the production process. After walking the show floor all day, anything that I could do to make the process faster would help me spend more time recovering from walking 12,000 steps per day. I also wanted to make things better. If I could both extend my artistic abilities and create visuals to enhance the story I was telling, that would help make my content for effective. For music, I would generally search for royalty-free Creative Commons music on sites such as YouTube's audio library. I'd find some good tracks, but it was never exactly what I wanted. I wanted to create a real Vegas schmaltzy music bed like the variety shows on television in the past. I recently did some experiments with Suno, so I gave that a try. I ended up with something that I really liked. It wasn't instant, however. Like most things AI, I had to work with the prompt to get the music that I really liked. I then tried to extend it, but I could only figure out how to extend it by 10 seconds, so I ended up just doing a manual overlap loop. Since there was voiceover on top, you really can't notice. Writing the script is often the most time-consuming process of the production. For example, I wanted to write about this piece of gear from Aja. If you look at the website, there is a ton of information that would take quite a long time to read through and distill. I could copy the URL and paste it into ChatGPT, but instead, I've been using the Chrome plugin from Harpa. Without leaving the browser, I can press the short summary button and it immediately generates a summary. I want to remove the bullets, so I just tell it to convert it to a paragraph, and then I copy and paste into my text editor and have a huge head start in creating my script. Since Harpa is resident on the page of interest, I have more confidence that it is not going to hallucinate. To record the voiceover, I could pack an expensive microphone and ship a sound booth to my hotel room, but I decided to use ElevenLabs instead. I'd actually experimented with it last year, but the model wasn't great. This year, I trained 30 minutes of my voice from last year's vodcast, and it is frighteningly awesome. The voiceover you are listening to right now is all done with ElevenLabs. It's not perfect, however. Mispronunciations are the biggest challenge. Here's an example. Aja announced their Dante AV 4K at last year's NAB, but it just came to market last summer. The Dante AV Ultra by AJA transports up to 4K/Ultra HD 60p RGBE4. Audio A4. 4 HDR video and up to 12. It also mispronounced Mac OS. The editing of punctuation and phonetically spelling made the process take about the same amount of time if I was recording it manually. But for someone without voiceover experience, I can imagine this will be a huge time saver. ElevenLabs prides itself on realistic speech. For the intro, I again wanted something more schmaltzy. I found Speak-A-2 to generate emotional voiceover. I used one of their stock voices and then added some emotion to generate the perfect intro.
Welcome to the 2024 National Association of Broadcasters Show Vodcast, brought to you by your friends at the Duke University Digital Media Community with your host, Steve Toback.
In addition to the mispronunciations, it did fail in spectacular and spooky fashion sometimes. Their customizable node-based editor allows flexibility, and their chroma keying technology is integrated into all software licenses. Users can choose between Aximmetry's own 3D render engine. Since I was using all this new technology, I wanted to refresh the existing DDMC logo. My first prompt in Microsoft Copilot, which is using the DALL-E engine, generated this. I really liked the design, but of course these models continue to have issues with text. I took it into Photoshop and fixed the text, added a Duke D to the film frame on the right, and then created a stylized image of the Duke Chapel, which required minimal editing. I was really happy with the final result. I wanted to create graphics to help add some visual interest to the content. For example, I wanted to talk about the increased visibility and adoption of the SMPTE ST2110 standard, so I wanted to do a nerd alert. It took the alarm aspect too seriously, and then when I asked it to remove the clock, it basically ignored me, which happens more often than I'd like, but is a reality of these tools. I took the second image into Photoshop, extended it to 16 by 9, and then used the Photoshop AI engine to generate some choices. Here's the final product, routed to the device for the speaker. Although AI was everywhere, if you want to see where AI for video is headed, search for samples of Sora from OpenAI. That wraps up this video. Happy to chat about AI anytime. Thanks for watching.